Hey guys, welcome to a little bit of a new thing we're doing. Today we're talking about the community integrated development. So we're trying out a new series. This is going to happen on occasional Thursdays, not necessarily every Thursday. And the premise here is Evan, John, and myself are all registered on the Privateer Press Community Integrated Development Forums. That's a place where Privateer Press will, from time to time, pilot new things that are almost completely done as a sort of an open beta. We have solicited permission to post this video, and as much as possible we're playing with real models, but in the case of the models that we're testing that have not yet been released, we have tried to find suitable Privateer Press models to serve as proxies, and I'll spend a few minutes at the beginning of the video going through this. Today we're playing Zavana Agna, the Old Witch, in her epic version. Zavana Aga is the Fate Keeper, and in this particular instance, I'm playing her as the Khador battle engine. So she's a Grimkin caster and a Khador caster. She has two different versions to harmonize the notion of being both a focuser and a fury user, a harvester, I believe they're called. She's really great. I'm going to go over a couple of her rule details. These are subject to change. Really important proviso right at the top of the video is we're playing week 1 Grimkin Community Integrated Development playtest. So this is the results of that. These rules certainly can change, and they change based on community feedback. The best way to provide that feedback is by registering yourself for the Community Integrated Development forums, testing games the same way we are, and providing information on those tests. That's the purpose of this video, is to give us the ability to reflect right after we played the game on what it looks like and how our experience of it is and how we feel she could be played, what she's going to do for the shape of the meta in the future. So without too much further ado, I'm going to talk first about the concept for Old Witch. This is stuff that the developers ironclad. She has to feel like this because, you know, her model's been made, her sculpt's been made, they've written her fluff already. Like, she has to be all of those things. And then I'm going to talk about the rules that she has under this version of the playtest. So the concept for Old Witch is she's riding a huge version of Scrapjack. It's a large source of her power. She's transformed Scrapjack into a great arcane machine that helps her interact with the Grimkin in her Grimkin version, but it also powers her spells and makes, obviously, her Khador battle group a lot more compelling when she's used as a Khador caster. In terms of rule basics, she has to gain a huge increase in her spell capability from that arcane machinery special rule. I'll go over how that's being handled in this instance. The goal is also to have her feat interact with that machinery. So that's what her feat currently does, and that's how we'll be talking about it. So I'm going to talk about her rules in kind of broad strokes. She's a battle engine. She's not cavalry, so she's just a speed 5 model. She can charge 8, but she doesn't have any other threat extenders like the ability to trample. She's mat 5 and rat 5, def 12, arm 19, so pretty easy to hit, but a big tanky stat line, and just like her prime version, she's focus 7. She's got a healthy amount of warjack points, same number as Sorsha does, 29 points. She's obviously on a huge base and has 20 boxes. She has Pathfinder, and then her Arcane Machinery rule. This one's really important. Her Arcane Machinery, anytime during her activation, she chooses one of the following effects. Either the cost of her spells is reduced by 1 for her whole activation, or her battle group gains Future Sight. That's the ability to boost attack and damage rolls after seeing the results. Or whenever she casts a spell and is the point of origin, so not if she channels, although that's less of an issue in Khador where there are no other channelers available to her. She gains +5 range. Also, she is a battle engine, so she is repairable. And she has dual attack, which means she can attack with her left and right big stomps. Scrapjack stomps you into the ground. Those are reach, power strength 15 attacks. And she also, with that dual attack, can fire a shot, which is her Carrion Crows. That's a magical range 10 AoE 4 shot, rate of fire 1, that instead of damaging you, living or undead models hit by it are blinded for a round. So the AoE is a cloud, it's a hazard, remains in play. Enemy living or undead models that enter it take 1 point of magical damage. So it's a little bit like... I mean, it's not exactly like what her feat or what her ability to place the Murder of Crows was like in her previous version, but it's obviously a narrative callback to that. She also has a pretty decent spell list, Boundless Charge, Curse of Shadows, Reconstruction, Scourge, and Windstorm. That's a rename of Stormwall Kruger 2's spell, which says, while in her control range, enemy models suffer -5 range on ranged attack. So I think she's really great, and we're going to test her out. In an effort to have the absolute most control over this, our very first community integrated development battle report, we are playing her as a Khador caster with the right models, with all the things you can see except for Old Witch being correctly represented. John will go over his list, but let's get into the video so you can see what we've got on the table here.
Hey guys, John here. So yeah, knowing I'm playing to the Old Witch Khador, I'm on the Signar train for the next couple months. I am learning Sloan. Game 1, Sloan right here on the stream. Basically, it's 5 hunters, a Stormwall, Strange Ways, Junior with a Charger, and Sloan with the Squire and Runeward. It's basically in heavy metal, and it basically gives me 2-inch deployment and extra 2 free solos.
2 free solos. So you've got a free Junior, free Squire, free Runewood. Is that right?
No, 4 free cards. Sorry, Squire, Junior, Captain, Strange Ways, and Runewood. All my solos are free.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. So that's heavy metal, which is a really, really good tier list. I'm also playing a tier list. I'm playing the Khador Winterguard theme force. This is a tier list that I've played a whole ton before. So just for anybody who has not played against this list before, I'm playing the Old Witch. In this case, she's represented by the Celestial Fulcrum from Circle Orboros. I have a painted Celestial Fulcrum, which most people can't say. But I'm trying to go for that notion of her arcane machinery, the sort of moving large parts in this assembled mass. I think it's really important when using proxies for any test games that they capture the spirit of the model so that you can get that sense, that articulation of how the model is supposed to feel as is supposed to correspond with its sculpt. So, I want to say, this big battle engine waving mass of arcane power feels like that's what it's supposed to be. So that's why I'm using the proxy that I am. I also have a minimum unit of Rifle Corps with 3 rockets. I'm running 3 Juggernauts, a Marauder, a Rager, who just ran up the front there, and then I have a Devastator. That's the Khador Arm 23 Clamjack style jack. So I have
5 jacks?
6 jacks?
6 jacks.
Sorry, and a Marauder.
Yeah,
the Marauder is the one
jacks.
that I missed there. So 3 Juggernauts, Marauder, Rager, and then the Devastator. And then I have a mini unit of rifles with 3 rockets, max unit of infantry with an officer and standard. Those are free from the tier list. The tier list also gives my caster Sacrificial Pawn, Winterguard, Grunt. So the infantry there are mostly to protect me, and I have a max unit of mechanics in the hopes that John goes to try to assassinate the witch, and I take some damage, sack to some infantry, and then repair myself with the mechanics. So, first turn here, I got advanced move on 2 of my jacks. Those are the 2 Juggernauts who ran up behind the house in the top zone you can see. Rifles ran up. The Witch put Boundless Charge and Reconstruction out. Reconstruction on the Devastator and Boundless Charge on the Juggernaut. Juggernaut charged the Stormwall, which you can see over that forest. Got through the rough terrain. Devastator ran around it. And those 2 are looking to ideally threaten that zone. My Winterguard run up into the trench, so John can't trivially remove them, and I've still got them available as sack pawn targets. And that's basically Khador turn 1. I chose to do the spells cost 1 less ability this turn, and I did put up Windstorm. So that ability is called Arcane Calibrations. So I did Arcane Calibrations with the Witch, and then I put up Reconstruction for 2 instead of 3. I put a Boundless Charge for 1 instead of 2. And I put up Windstorm for 2. So that got me 3 points of focus efficiency, costing me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means I'm actually camping 2. So I've actually spent more than I would actually have been able to if I was a regular Warcaster.
It's really neat. You can definitely cast a lot more spells.
Sorry, John. Kovnik Joe, who's still on the list, he just ran up into that rubble, and he put Courage of the Forefathers on the infantry.
Yeah, so they can get tough. So playing against this in theme, going for the assassination, it's rarely what happened because he has so many sack pawns around him. Also, he has a shield guard.
Yeah, the Rager is a shield guard. That's true.
So my goal here with playing Sloan, I only have a few games under my belt off the stream, but I know, I need to take out heavies and stay outside the threat
By
range.
a few games, you mean 13, right?
Yeah, it's a few games.
Okay, just checking.
It's a few
This
games.
is my first Old Witch game.
Yeah, this is probably my 13th game with this list. Yeah, I think you're right. I like it a lot. Heavy metal. I think Sloan heavy metal brings a lot to Sloan, especially with all the free solos, 4 free solos. I like the Stormwall. Gives me that melee threat as well as covering fire when playing against infantry or 3 big guns on her feet turn. Just a lot of power.
Yeah, it is.
So like my plan here now.
Plus guided fire on D3 times 2 shots is pretty nice.
Yeah. So guided fire in my whole battle group is really nice. So the Squire allows me to take a Fury. I can go Refuge, Fire Group, and Guided Fire, and Camp 0.
Yeah, that's most obviously out of tier. The play with Sloan is typically to take Reinhold for an extra shot.
Double shots, yeah.
But the Squire actually is pretty decent with her when you don't have the option of Reinhold.
Yeah, and the Hunters all have extended not leash, but extended control. So
long leash, War Machine.
Yeah. Yeah, playing trolls. So get used to it. I might call Focus Fury or Fury Focus a few times, so bear with me, guys.
It's also worth noting that in the recommended style of community integrated development games, this is mostly a game that's about testing the limits of the caster, really seeing what she can do. So a couple of times we're going to talk about hypothetical lines of play, show you what they look like, and then reverse the game state. Also, during the course of this game, John and I are both saying, why don't you try that? Or what would this do? Or let's kind of sort of see how that feels. This is not about who wins.
No.
It's about testing the model and really seeing if we think it's ready for retail release.
Yeah, for sure. So like we're testing Old Witch into basically gun line. Like the biggest gun line you can come with. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I think she's really supposed to be designed to be a Khador tool that is really kind of good into guns as well as supporting a big battle group. And I think this is a harsh litmus test.
For sure.
Windstorm is really great against a lot of types of guns, but Sloan's guns specifically can just be outside of it and still be fine.
So I need Fire Group every single time to be outside, right?
So Fire Group makes you range 16.
Yeah, so I'm outside of your
Windstorm is 14, so it protects a little bit less. Still forces Sloan to make some interesting choices, so I've still cast it.
So basically, yeah. So quickly to run down what happened. Sloan went up, put Refuge on herself, put Fire Group up, so it's range 16. Shot once at the Devastator because I couldn't see the Juggernaut behind the wall. Did minimal damage, if any, to the Devastator.
Like 6 points. Like
yeah, boosted it too. So I spiked Weapon Master, POW 12. Stormwall is gonna walk up, took some shots at the Juggernaut behind the forest, did quite a bit of damage to it. Put 2 covering fires out just to be safe. And now he's basically covering fire so his units just can't jam me. And now it's a Hunter's turn. I am shooting as much as I can that Juggernaut. My goal is to remove one.
The Devastator, right? You're shooting the Devastator?
No,
you're shooting the Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. So like the 10-inch, you'll see the 10-inch deployment, the stick a lot. It's his threat range if he runs.
Sorry, boundless charge.
Boundless charge.
Yeah.
So 10 inches of boundless charge, and if he runs, it's only 9 inches. So I'm staying outside of 10 so I can make sure my hunters never get engaged. So that's something I've learned over playing Sloan a few times. Like, even if you have to move the hunters backwards a bit, it's better to be outside the threat range than, inwards more so you get engaged.
Yeah, they don't have parry anymore, so once they get jammed up, it's a bad time for them.
So I'm just taking a lot of shots. Both hunters took 3 hunters, 4 hunters to do it. 4 hunters plus the Stormwall kill 1 Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Which is about right.
It's rough.
dice off 4 with the hunters and dice off 5 with Stormwall. Armor 20, right?
Yeah. So 6 4s is 24 plus
2 shots with the big gun, so it's off 5, so that's 10 more, so 34 points of damage on average.
Yep, that's about right.
So that's what happened. The other hunter just taking a random shot, moving strange ways around. Put Arcane Shield with Junior on the Charger. The Charger's going to move up a bit just to try to stay outside of any charge lanes or anything like that.
You Arcane shielded the Charger this turn, which I thought was really interesting.
Yes, because he's going to be up a little closer. I kind of want you to shoot him instead of Junior or any of my hunters, so I kind of threw him out there as bait to get some shots. I also messed up measuring. I'm like, oh, he can walk 6 and shoot 12, so it's 18 threat. So I walk 6 and measure 18. I'm like, wait a second. This does not work.
The math doesn't quite check out.
So I'm like, okay, cool. That's a mistake. But, his Arcane Shield, he's up there to get shot at. We'll see what happens. Junior's back camping 1. I took 2 shots at a guy behind a house. Did minimal damage. That's it.
Yeah, I think he actually took 7 damage.
I did 7 damage.
John's notion of minimal is often
I don't see the dice. I don't know. POW 12. Boosted all the time. Yeah, okay. Maybe I
Dice
did
off
7.
8. You did 7.
Maybe I
Rolled
did
15.
7 twice. Yeah. Or 4 and a
Total,
3.
total.
Yeah, total. Yeah, basically I'm staying on the hill and making sure everything's outside threat range. This lonely hunter is going to shoot the Devastator. I'm 23, so it's like dice off 7.
Yeah, he goes to 12. You're dice minus 6.
Dice minus 6.
Yep.
Any little point I can put on a Juggernaut or a Khador Jack right now is well worth it because his mechanics are by his battle engine.
Yeah, it's quite relevant because there's no chance I can repair that guy. He's way too far out of the field.
He is
I
going to be
considered if the Juggernaut had somehow survived, which would have just been John's dice getting a little unlucky a couple of times, because he does 34 damage on average. A Juggernaut has 34 boxes, so if he'd just like gotten low once, I would have been on 1 or 2. If that had happened, I probably would have pulled the Juggernaut way back and just like chained him with mechanics.
And also had like 1 hunter left too, so it was 4 hunters and a Stormwall to do 34. So if I have a 5th hunter, it's add another 6 damage. Or
that's one less thing the hunter can shoot though.
Yeah.
So like that's good too.
But basically, I've learned in this list that I need to take out as many jacks as possible, and removing 1 heavy jack in this lower half of the board means I'm not going to have that much in the contesting in this bottom zone. I want to have some dudes and that Devastator. In the top zone, yes, I've already conceded that zone to scenario points, but I know I have pods, I have the Charger, I have Junior if I have to contest, and even if I have to throw a hunter, I could throw a hunter in there to contest.
Sure.
So like I'm trying to control this bottom zone as much as I can. I didn't feat this turn. That was a question Tim asked me. I didn't feat because it wasn't worth it. So I passed it over to Tim. Tim, Old Witch, what do you want to do?
So I'm in a bit of an awkward spot because I feel like having the presence of those sack bonds late in the game is really important. So Joe kind of just has to put Courage of the Forefathers on them almost every turn, and they have to be that kind of like soak for the Old Witch. She's 12-19, which is actually pretty good, and she has 20 boxes, but it means that John hits her fairly trivially, and his dice minus 4 boosts damage into 7 damage to her per hunter, even reducing that to 2 damage per hunter with focus. I can't eat very many of those shots. So those Winter Guard are really important, which means my rifles, who normally end up getting the +2 rat buff from Joe, are never going to get that this game, which is rough because I have 3 rockets in that unit, and rockets at rat 5 are a little underwhelming. So I take 3 shots with rockets and miss a hunter 3 times, and then I do a couple of CRAs with rifles that actually end up missing. My 2 Juggernauts, they just run up from behind the house. One of them moves through covering fire and takes no damage. And I'm trying to put a lot of pressure on that Stormwall to commit elsewhere, to sort of pull back and kind of be forced out of that zone, because I am hoping that I can score my points in the top zone here.
Yeah, with you forcing me in with Stormwall, it's a 10-inch boundless charge, right? So I always have to keep my Stormwall 10 inches away because 2 Juggernauts can easily kill a Stormwall. 1 can really cripple it.
Yeah, it can get pretty rough. The boundless charge is speed 4, effectively goes to 6, gets Pathfinder so it can clear that wall, charges 9, and then has a 1-inch melee on both the Ice Axe and the Fist. So now the infantry are running up. I'm just, again, against Sloan, you just have to jam her. Like, you have to get into melee with her pieces as soon as possible. So I'm trying to see, like, how much of that can I do? Where can I get with my infantry? So the infantry squeeze through those covering fires and get as far up as they possibly can. In a moment, you're going to see where I position the officer in standard. The standard bearer bonus, giving that officer +2 inches on her command range. And I've got a guy within an inch of the officer to take up if John decides to shoot the officer and try to bully my command range a little bit. And then Joe puts Courage of the Forefathers on them, and he just runs up, gets out of that cover, and ducks behind the wall. Sackpawn Winter Guard, I'm hoping will help Joe out there. And if John abandons the zone, I've got Joe in there to score a point. And if John decides to try to score in this zone, Joe's a little bit trickier to remove than some of the other pieces, and he's got a little bit of line of sight blocking terrain.
And also that Devastator in that zone, which is pretty hard to shoot right now.
The Devastator is arm 23, and it has reconstruction. So at some point, if John kills it with a bunch of armor-piercing shots, which are going to be dice minus 6, so it's one of the better options for armor-piercing, like one of the better ones in terms of my defense against armor-piercing, should I say, it's going to be able to place itself completely within 3 inches and heal 4 boxes. Which isn't a ton, but it'll buy at least 1 more shot, and I'm hoping that the value of those shots will either save some of my other pieces or keep it alive for 1 more turn. So now the mechanics are all running up. They're within range to repair the witch if John goes for the shoot the witch plan. And they're all in the trench because they are very squishy. They're 12-12.
You also put up that windstorm again, right?
Yeah, I put up windstorm again. I did the -1 cost on spells thing again because it made sense to. And I'm camping a fair bit on the witch. She's currently camping 5.
So are you
camping 4?
Are you afraid of the assassination?
No, for sure. You always have to be afraid of the assassination. You have to respect it. I feel like I'm pretty safe right now. But I mean, if you unloaded all your guns into me, there's a very real chance that it could take me out. Especially if you can use some lower value attacks, like maybe the D3 pop gun shots on the Stormwall plus guided fire to remove a bunch of the infantry that are currently blocking for me.
I thought of it. Like I honestly thought of it, but
I do have the Rager and Rage to Shield Guard,
and you have 7 sack pawns,
and I currently have
7. I measured it earlier. 7.
Yeah. But I can't sack pawn to the officer. I can't sack pawn to Joe. It has to be to specifically troopers.
Okay, so you have 6.
Yeah. I have 6, and then one of them can be shield guarded by the Rager to protect it.
So it's solid. So my turn comes up. Allocation. This is going to be my feet turn. I have 2 options. Playing this, I must stay outside of 14, so my range is always 16 on my feet turn because I just don't want to be closer enough because if I'm closer, that means my hunters are in range of getting engaged by one of those guys, and that's not what I want. So it's going to be a feet turn. I allocated 1 to every hunter except one to the Stormwall. So that's one of my allocation. I'm camping 1. Don't really need to be afraid from the assassination. He does have some guns, but I figure that I'm going to be safe enough away that I shouldn't have to worry about the guns.
Yeah, you're planning probably to use that 1 to boost damage, right? Like you're just.
I want to, yes. I plan on boosting damage. I need to kill the Devastator. I've also thought of not killing the Devastator and leaving the zone for 1 turn, just falling back and contesting it. But I also, and then decided to kill 2 Juggernauts on the top of the table, which I can easily do. I can kill 1 for sure and cripple 1 more, and you have no mechanics at the top of the table.
Sure.
So if I cripple the one or kill the one in the middle of the table and cripple the top table one, I feel safe from that flank coming hard.
Right.
But then I have this Devastator in my face.
It's there.
So
ready to devastate.
It took some time. I'm thinking what I should do. I'm definitely thinking I should kill this Devastator and put some points of damage in other jacks. So Sloan dice off a whole bunch on the 1 Devastator, decides to shoot this Juggernaut that's over there. I have to move over.
Did you cast Refuge this turn?
I do not have Refuge this turn. I dropped it.
Okay.
So I'm on 1.
So you shoot the Juggernaut and feet.
Yep.
You don't guided fire, right?
No, I don't guided fire because I'm at 7.
Yep. You're at 8. That's totally
But
fine.
we're at 7 with my rest of my battle group minus the Stormwall.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hit, I boost damage, I did a few points to that Juggernaut. Okay, cool. She's way back at the table. Nothing can really get to me. Maybe you can get some shots on me, but I'm hoping to have have some covering fire in the way, so nothing happens. So this is what I've been doing with Sloan every Sloan game I play her. Put a 10-inch widget down when I'm playing Khador. Move well outside that 10 inches.
Yep. With
a hunter. They have speed 6. They're pretty safe.
You do a bunch of damage. You get to boost both times.
So I always give them an extra 1 so they can boost both attacks.
Yep. I think you do 9 damage to that Devastator.
Yeah, so it's dice off 6, dice off 6. This one's dice off 6 as well, boost damage. Do a few more points, dice off 6. Do a few more points. So you can see over there on the screen.
Yeah, the Devastator's on
2 rounds.
8 boxes.
In 2 rounds of 5 hunters or 4 hunters shooting him, he's on 8 boxes left. Next one, dice off 6, puts him down to 1 column left, I think.
Yep. And then you hit, and you
do
nothing on that hunter. So this is a little bit awkward because now you've got to start the activation of a new hunter to finish the Devastator.
Yep. So now I have 2 hunters and a Stormwall to go. And I'm thinking to myself, what way is the best for me to do this? Do I do the Stormwall because it's dice off 8 with the Stormwall? Power 15s.
Hunter at dice minus 6.
Or hunters at dice minus 6. And I need to stay outside of your 14 and stay outside of your 10 of your charges on your Juggernauts on top of the table.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a proxy going on here, making sure I stay outside of all threat ranges and stay not within 14. Because that does make me play. It makes me...
Yeah, you've got to kind of puzzle around it a little bit. So Stormwall walks right back.
But then I realized I need to be
Currently have no line of sight,
so I need to be within the forest. So then I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta move up a bit.
Yep.
So
as I said, we had a lot of like, oh no, don't do that, do this, do that, do this, and because it's a brand new caster, I was like, John, don't forget to be on my 14. Like,
it's like, yeah, it's an extra
because
thing.
we want to test it like authentically. We want to assume that Old Witch has been in the game for a long period of time, and how does she sit in the meta? Like that's the level of testing we want to do with this.
So it does dictate my style of play and how I need to play it.
Sure.
So my Stormwall is within 15, or within threat range. Shoots, boosts damage, nothing. Shoots, boost damage, nothing. Last shot, boost damage, and does like 3 points.
Which is rough.
Leaves you on 4.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not what I wanted. I had 3 PAL 15s.
I got a little lucky there for sure.
But my dice spiked earlier, so dice comes around. So
Yep.
I'm putting covering fire out. They get plus this 12-inch covering fire now because my feet turn.
Yeah, because you've got that fire group up.
So I put the one right in front of all those POW 12 or POW 13 infantry models. So if they want to try to kill Sloan, you need to walk through it or somehow make a KG walk around through Pathfinder and be within 8.
Yeah, it's
So
certainly
I
not
feel like
effortless.
I'm pretty good. I'm safe. So my hunters, I'm like, okay, what do I do here? I have to kill him.
Mhm.
I have to reconstruct him. I must get rid of him, or else he's on Sloan's face.
Yep.
Like he's not within 10, but if I kill him, he gets placed in within 3, so then he is within 10. So it's like a puzzle here. So my hunter just backs up, stays away from 10 of the guys, hits, does enough to reconstruct him.
So now he reconstructs. So now I've got to decide where to put him. So I get John to flip the clock over to me. We check the 16-inch measurement. So now I know where he is relative to me, because that's his range. And then we just confirm that at that new placement, I am just out of 16. I'm a little bit closer, so I'm kind of doing that like, now you've killed me. Now I can charge your caster. You have to kill me again. Trying again to soak the shots of as many of the hunters on the board as I possibly can, because they do so much work on the feet turn.
But yeah, it was definitely my goal here was kill the Devastator or kill a Juggernaut and cripple, and I went with the Devastator. So I need to finish the Devastator. So I got this one hunter shot left, and I put it into this Juggernaut over the wall. I'm just like, why not? I got to soak damage, put damage somewhere. So choose him, shoot, hit, dice off 4. Does like 6 points or 4 points. So now I'm like, my next hunter, I need to stay outside of 14. And if I'm in 14, it's -4 range.
-5 range.
-5 range. So I
So
go
you
from
need to be
6
within
to
11 inches.
So I decided that is not going to happen, me moving back. So this hunter's going to be sacrificial.
Yep.
So I'm going to move within 11 and over a wall to play it safe. So if you do need a charge, you need to put boundless charge on him.
Yeah, and that's a really awkward charge for that Juggernaut, so it's going to be tricky.
So I hit, I do some damage, boost the second one, hit again, and does enough to take him off the table. So it gives me that zone. I cannot let you score, though. So I Rune Word, comes into the zone, walks up, POW 12 handgun.
Yep, just takes
7.
a shot at Joe.
Rat 6, hits Joe.
Yeah, he needs a 6 to hit, but he hard rolled it because he's a boss. I sack pawn to a winter guard.
Sack pawn, kill, tough check, and you don't tough. And now I repull 3. Just to make sure I'm as close out of that zone on that hill as possible. And you always declare it as you're doing it.
Yep.
So also in like heavy metal, all my solos have reposition. So that's like my Squire, my Junior, my 2 other solos, Rune Bear and Strangeways, or Rune Wood and Strangeways. They all have reposition 3.
That's pretty amazing.
So it's pretty sick. I
There's
usually
reposition 3 to battle mechanics too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I usually forget to use it just based on I try to keep them safe as is.
It can be really clutch sometimes too when you
So
need to
like
clear
for
a
example
flag.
here, I use it here. She walks up like an inch to get 2 guys within her shot.
Yep.
So I shoot 1, I reposition 3. Okay, my charger is now out of the way. I'm like, cool, charger, where do I need to go? Stay in formation. So I checked that, your charge range, and I'm like, cool, where do I go? Because you can definitely charge me with boundless charge.
I can't charge Junior right now, but I can get some guns onto Junior.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to figure out if I can make Junior inert. You have 1 focus on you, I think?
Junior's camping 1.
Yeah, and that charger still has Arcane Shield.
This charger is just shooting a Juggernaut, just trying to put some points of damage in. You know?
And you do. That Juggernaut's taken like almost 6 points now.
Yeah, well, he shot him 4 times. So
Yep,
I think it's about 10 points of damage over 4 shots.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think.
So I pop a turnover. No one scores because I contested with a pod and I contested with a rune word. So it's on your turn. What is your plan?
Classy Sloan turn. You're playing the deployment area of the game.
Yep.
It's good. Okay, so I try something here. I'm kind of goofing around a little bit because I want to test the capacity of the Old Witch, and I'm pretty sure that if I feat, the feat gives me the ability of all 3 aspects of the arcane machinery. So I'll have cost -1 spells, I'll have Future Sight on myself and my battle group, and then I'll also have the +5 range. So if I walk 5 inches, pretty close to Sloan, and then I have an 8-inch Scourge, and then I have a 5-inch range amplifier, that's 18 inches. I think I'm within 18 inches. If that Scourge hits, he's knocked down. If that Scourge deviates 1 or 2 inches, he's knocked down. I can put it on a couple of times, then maybe I can walk a few blunderbusses into range. That's a bunch of hits on his camping nothing caster. So with that in mind, there's a guy right there. And I don't want to activate the Winterguard infantry first because I really want their powerful blunderbusses on Sloan when she's knocked down and ready to die here. So I have to kill that dude. Which feels a little grim. No pun intended. Nah, I'm sorry, I did really intend
You can just collect her soul.
He doesn't collect. She doesn't collect souls anymore, people. She's no longer a soul collector, but that's okay. She's got other plans. She's just too busy operating Scrapjack to collect souls. No one can get within 2 inches of the actual witch because she's on top of it in the middle. It's a 5-inch base. Yeah, so I'm going to move the Rager up, which you can barely see behind the proxy model. And that Rager is going to boost to hit a shot in the back of that Winterguard model. So I'm just going to kill him. I'm going to get him out of the way so the witch can move up and ideally knock down and kill Sloan. So Rager moves up. First I make a couple of measurements here just to be sure that this is the right thing to do. Scourges cost 4, but it'll go down to cost 3. So I'll get a Scourge, and then maybe need to boost to hit, and then get another Scourge that I don't get to boost to hit. Note, development is tricky, especially when you're dealing with models you've never played before. There's a whole bunch of rules to digest, and it's really easy to forget key aspects. We talk about forgetting key aspects of models in the course of regular gaming, but in the development cycle, it can be really pivotal. In this version of the Khador Old Witch, her feat gives her the benefit of all 3 arcane machineries, but it also boosts her magic attack rolls on her activation, which I completely slipped. So I'm doing this math assuming I need to boost to hit all of these attack rolls. And in point of fact, the feat will actually boost them for me. So it's a mistake, and we catch it during the course of the game, and we rewind and correct for it. But you'll see in a moment what that experience is like. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when you get to it. But I've now asserted that I can walk 5, be in the zone, and Scourge her as long as I kill that Winterguard model. So how you feeling looking at this, John? Did you anticipate the crazy threat range of the Old Witch?
No, like playing versus her the first time, seeing her for the first time, not reading up on her before this game. I read up on most of the other ones, but I stayed away from Old Witch 2 and Old Witch 3 because I just not my thing right now.
Oh, John.
So like when Tim's like, okay, I'm gonna walk 5. I'm going to then cast my feet. I'm like, cool, what's your feet? Oh, spells are extra 5 inches. I'm like, cool. Okay, this should be fun. So you walk 5 into the zone.
Yep. So she just gets into the zone. The Rager hit that guy with the boosted. He's only at 3, but he only needs a 7. So boosted 7 in the butt, hits him, kills him. They're not tough yet because Joe hasn't gone yet. Old Witch walks into the zone. She has Pathfinder, and she scourges your caster. The feat,
defense 16, you're like, I need to boost it. I'm like, cool.
Feat is called Hour of Reckoning.
So it costs 3 because it's usually 4, right?
Yeah, it goes down to cost 3 for Scourge.
Which is neat, which is like makes this assassination pretty cool because you have 2 chances of knocking a caster down or a model down needed. Roll a 7.
So roll a 7, which is a miss.
Future Sight it.
And then with Future Sight, I boost. Again, I spent that Fury. I shouldn't have spent that Fury. It should have been automatically boosted.
So he misses because he rolled a 1. He needed a 2, so he misses it.
We're moving in AoE 3. It's actually AoE 4, but it needs to deviate 1 or 2 inches, which it fails to do.
So the second one rolls a 5.
Second one I rolled a 5. Or sorry, that's a 7 again.
No, you rolled a 4 and a 2, so rolled a 6.
Yeah.
Had no fury to future sight it, and it knocks down my squire.
Okay. So notable point here, it should have already been boosted, but we'll come back to that. So don't jump on the comments yet and say you forgot that Old Witch's feat boosts the magic attack rolls. I would have had 1 more fury right now if we'd done everything correctly, because I wouldn't have had to boost the first one, and that second scourge would have been boosted. So leave it for now. Not having knocked down Sloan, having knocked down the squire, which is largely irrelevant because it can stand up, walk 5, and repo 3. I move on to activating the rest of my pieces.
And now you're like, okay, cleanup mode. So let's score 3 this turn. Let's kill this pod, and let's kill the runewoods on the hill.
Yep. So I kind of poorly allocate my shots here. I put a 3-person CRA into Runewood, which actually misses because they only go to 8, so I need a 7 to hit. They miss. And then I put a 3-person CRA into the Hunter, which
you would need a 9
hit
because he's defense. Oh no, you're right. He's defense 15. You're need yep, you're right.
7's with a 3-person CRA.
Yep. And you missed it.
That one misses. So
then
Joe aims. Joe's at 6. He gives Courage of the Forefathers out to the infantry, and he takes his shot at Runewood.
Needs 7s.
Goes to 8, needs a 7, and Joe hits the 7.
Armor 14.
Armor 14. Dice minus 2 doesn't kill.
3 boxes.
2 points of damage to you, maybe 1 point.
Yeah,
of
I
damage?
think you did. You leave me on 3, so I think you did 2.
Yeah. So that's a mistake, and I don't have a ton left on this side of the board that can actually deal with that anymore. So either I should have committed more models to the CRA on Joe and not tried to do as much damage to that Hunter, or I should have just put one of the Scourges into Joe, maybe, or pardon me, into Runewood. Anyway, it's a mistake, and it's going to cost me 2 CPs this turn, which is pretty pivotal.
Because then you're attacking over the wall now, this one, Juggernaut.
Yep.
You missed your first attack, your second initial hits. Armor 15.
I do
a lot.
Dice even, big chunk of damage.
Leaves on 3.
The first attack missed. The second attack I missed, but I future sighted.
Yeah, because
I
it was
that from the feet.
Yeah, you were like.
And I boosted after rolling, and it did a big truck of damage. So that plus the CRA has left that Hunter with just its gun. I believe its Cortex is crippled at this point.
Has his Cortex is gone. Movement's still good. And
yeah,
he just has movement. That's
and
it.
And his left arm.
Yeah, not even his left arm. He just has movement. It was 3 boxes in the movement column.
That doesn't make sense. No, he has his left arm in movement.
Okay. Well, either way, he basically he's engaged and he's not going anywhere.
Because the 3 boxes are in 2 different columns, right? Anyway, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So the rifles move up. They get a CRA shot at the Junior, and they've got a couple of rocket shots at the Hunter. Again, these rockets are needing hard 9s. Maybe it's a bit of a missed deployment with Joe, but 2 of the rockets miss. And both CRAs miss. So I do a 3-person CRA and a 2-person CRA. One of them goes to Rat 8, needs a 6. The other one needs a 7, and both of them miss. And then 2 rockets miss, and the third rocket hits and does a couple of points of damage.
To the Hunter.
Yeah, it's dice minus 3, and it gets that brutal damage, that extra die. So that rocket actually does pretty reasonable damage to the Hunter.
You take out the movement of that Hunter.
Yeah, I don't take out anything else, but I take out its movement, and I do it on my 3rd rocket shot, which is too bad, because if I'd done it on my 1st rocket shot, the other 2 probably would have hit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So the battle mechanics just run up. They base the witch. One of them floats over to the other zone. They're in a position to repair her if she needs it. Again, I'm really trying to play cagey about that assassination. And
okay, so
Marauder on the bottom flank, or top flank, should I say, moves up.
So now it's my turn. Everything's already defeated, so now I need to just figure out what do I need to do. Do I kill the Juggernauts? Do I commit everything, kill the Juggernauts on top of the table? That's 1 less Hunter now. This is the time we decided that.
So, yeah, this is the point where we realize that the feat has that boost. So I roll the die to see if the last Scourge would have hit.
And he rolled a 5 like he needed.
Rolls a 5, and it would have hit, because that takes it to an 11, so she would have been knocked down. So, argument's sake, we knock Sloan down. We resolve the damage on the Scourge, which I put a column on for some reason. Then we assume that I got 2, maybe 3 Winter Guard in, so they move in.
3, we guess.
And then Joe could have walked in with his range 12, and he hits and would have done enough damage to kill her.
So Scourge would have been dice off. I'm armor 14. Dice off 1.
Dice off 1.
So you only got 1 on there. So
Yep.
average is say 7, So 5 or
Well,
6?
what we actually rolled out for the dice, it could have been 6, but she had that extra focus because she wouldn't have boosted the first one. It would have been automatically boosted.
Okay,
So
we
the boosted
it.
damage does about 10. The dice said it did 9.
Yeah.
Then we have 3 POW 12 blunderbusses.
Off 2.
Dice say they should do 15 damage. Or sorry, the averages said they should do 15 damage. They actually did another 12, I think.
Yep.
And then Joe's shot did another 7, but at that point you're dead by 10 points.
Yep.
So, relevant feedback for design. That assassination is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's possible, really possible.
I think it's fair to say that you probably went a little more all in than you would knowing her full capability.
Oh, for sure. I would have probably either camped 1 or 2 or kept refuge up and basically got
Been a
out of
little
the
further
way
back.
a little farther back.
So, for the sake of testing, we accepted that truth that it happened and saw the mistake as a blessing and moved on to, okay, what's the next play? What's the line of attrition look like?
Yeah, how can she handle more gunshots coming at you, and what can she do?
Yeah, she doesn't have Windstorm up this turn, so John's guns are full range, even though I'm parked pretty far up the table. So what's this turn going to look like, and where is Khador after that?
Still, assassinating is off the table because you have, like, sack pawns out the yin-yang. You have a lot of sack pawns around here right now. I could probably put every shot into you, and you'll still probably have sack pawns left.
Yeah. The Stormwall's not in range to charge.
Non-wall range of charge. So my plan is now, what do I take off the table, and what is my best plan, course of action to still playing a scenario game? I'm now down 1-0 in scenario because you scored
instead of 3-0.
Instead of 3,
would survived in that zone.
Sure, correct. So now I'm like, okay, what's the course of action? I have 2 ways of doing this. I can charge my Stormwall in and kill one of your Juggernauts, but then I feel like that's what you kind of want, and you have a Marauder and Juggernaut kill my Stormwall. I'm like, well, I can't really do that. I'm like, I could charge my Stormwall over here and do some E-leaps and like have some fancy stuff to clear the zone with the Stormwall, and then have 3 Hunters and Sloan kill whatever's left in the zone, and then score 2 myself in this bottom zone, which I feel is really good because your caster does not contest.
That's correct, yep. You have to kill Joe, and you have to kill, I believe it's 4 Winter Grid.
Yeah, so like that proxy, there's my Stormwall, charges in, hits 1, E-leaps to another one, which automatically makes us make a tough check, or dice off 2.
Yep.
So not double ones.
That is an 8-inch measuring stick. That is the threat of a Stormwall.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is my plan here? Do I do that and then buy another attack, E-leap somewhere else?
So you'd allocated one of the Stormwall, and then
I allocated
Strange Ways powered
2.
it up.
Allocated 2.
1 plus the power up plus the power up.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yep.
So I allocated 1 to the Stormwall, and she has everything else. She pulled off the Squire.
Yeah. So
Stormwall's going to go first after a Strange Ways game with another bonus. 6 is to hit. Drop the pod. Disruption, I could. I didn't want to boost it. I'm like, no, because I need to make sure I do this play right. Does no damage, but I'm contesting the zone again. So cool. That's why I like. I missed my charge attack. Missed my second one. Bye. Hits. E-leaps to the first guy. Kills him too. They both get tough checks, and one passes.
One passes, the other guy fails. John buys an attack and kills that one.
E-leaps this one and fails.
The other guy in the zone. Actually, the tough check there I think was kind of clutch, because if you hadn't toughed, I don't know if you've got a way to kill that guy who's just out of your melee range.
It'd be
like without shooting, obviously.
It would be an E-leap somewhere, right?
So that kind of bought you another shot, which was cool.
So I'm like, okay, cool. What's the play here? Currently rolling some dice with my my Stormwall. Yeah, my one Hunter aimed. The Black Hunter has movement out. He aimed to try to shoot the one guy that's engaged in my Stormwall. Boosted to hit.
You missed the 16 to hit.
Hits my Stormwall and does like 4 points of damage to my Stormwall.
Yep, little friendly fire there. That's okay.
So Sloan Sloan activates. She has refuge on herself.
You recast it, right?
Recast.
So recast refuge, cast guided fire. That's 5 of your 6 because you only allocated 1.
Yep.
And then you get the shot. You kill the dude, and you're on 1. You refuge just back to be barely touching the zone.
Behind my Stormwall.
Just on the hill. It's a little bit of an awkward position, so we have to put a die to prop her up. But she is completely
on the hill. And she has enough room where a medium base can go between my Stormwall and my Sloan. We measured it. We made sure that was my plan. It was my intention.
Yep.
And Tim was good with it, cool with it. So cool. Hey, here we go. Hunter number 2. Number 2 activation in this game.
Yep.
Shooting some...
Shooting Joe.
Hits Joe.
Yep.
Because guided fire is up.
Joe will sack pawn to the only remaining winter guard who
And you tuffed.
failed. He does pass his tough check.
It's okay, Rune Warrior. This is your job. Let's kill that one that's knocked down. Hits
Rune
it.
rolls knocked up
kills.
ones and kills him. Yep.
So that was awesome. So next, I got 2 hunters now to kill Joe. This hunter walks up on the hill. Guided fire. Hits Joe. Boost damage. And kills Joe. Joe gets tough check because he just has it and fails it.
Stuff.
Sweet. Zone is mine. I'm scoring 2. Next hunter. Squire walks up. Sacrifices his movement. And he walks up 5. Hunter can get through.
Just running, right?
Yeah, he's running. He is just running based on I don't want your caster to get close enough to my Stormwall and Sloan for 2 inches.
If
And
he stayed there, I think the Old Witch could charge Sloan, scourge you, and then have 2 POW 15s,
which would
are
just
her
kill
melee
me.
attacks.
Which would just kill me.
Yeah, so that hunter's presence is actually kind of awkward.
So Hunter runs in there and just kind of puts it there because then you have to deal with it. This hunter has a 1-inch melee. Well, all hunters have 1-inch melee, but this hunter has a 1-inch melee to surprise Tim.
But this one is mine.
Yeah, this one is mine. So those guys are all engaged by this one hunter. Don't get me wrong, he has like everything out except his movement.
And his weapon.
Or his movement and one. Oh yeah, his gun. But
Yeah, he only has 1 die on the axe, but I'm still in a position where those infantry at def 12 don't want to take a... What is he, mat 5 or 6?
6.
6. So he goes up to mat 8. So he needs to roll a 4 on 1 die, which is a 50-50 that he kills a Winterguard infantry model. So that's actually a better jam than it looks.
What Junior does is he puts Arcane Shield up, camps 1, walks 6, and repos 3 away. So now he's actually 9 away.
So you basically walked 9 and put Arcane Shield on yourself?
And then I also had this other charger now. My charger run in front of this other Juggernaut, so you can't get a charge lane on my Stormwall or the Hunter.
Yeah, because with Boundless Charge, that Juggernaut would be in to charge the Stormwall, which you don't want to have happen. Because if I could get 2 Juggernauts in on that Stormwall and kill it, I think the situation looks pretty dire.
Yes, it would be really dire. So I had to jam with my other, I have 1 Hunter and 1 Charger jamming. That's cool. That's fine. I'm fine with them dying.
Yeah, the Charger's not quite in the zone, but he is stopping that Juggernaut.
So now I'm like, okay, I scored 2, Tim. What's your plan? Well, his first plan was run all his mechanics.
Step 1, run the mechanics. So I ran all the mechanics into the zone. They're just trying to do their best they can to contest the zone. This is tricky. I still feel like I've got some scenario presence. I'm up a point.
You're down.
I'm
down a point.
on 1 point. John is on 2 points. If I can get to 3 points this turn, then I'm basically saying clear the zone or I win, unless I can't contest John's zone next turn. So I put most of my mechanics in the zone and one of them just out of the zone so he can walk in and contest next turn. And I move my rifles up, and this time the rifles get a pretty good CRA onto
Junior.
The Hunter.
Oh yeah,
the
Hunter
with
no
movement
movement. Yeah.
He took a rocket, and then these 2 get a shot on Junior, and unfortunately they do. The second rocket shoots the Hunter, and they finish the Hunter with 3 rockets, and then the 2 rifles get a CRA on Junior, which also misses. So my CRAs on Junior haven't hit yet,
Junior's being a dodgy guy.
It's a matter of time. Dodgy gal in this particular.
Yeah, dodgy gal. Yeah.
List. Yep. So it's time for figuring out what I'm going to do here. I still got to kill a pod that's contesting that zone, and to get into that zone, I think Old Witch has to run, and I can give my Battle Group Feature Sight and run, which is pretty cool. So I activate the Winter Guard. They move up. They get a press forward order, so the Standard Bearer runs into my zone. The other 3 charge the Hunter. The Officer and 1 other guy actually get the 3-inch bonus.
Defense 14.
So the Officer goes first. I'm hoping her mat 6 rolls an 8. She does. She does okay damage, believe it or not.
Leaves me on 1 box.
But she doesn't cripple movement, which is too bad.
Yeah. Has 4 boxes left. She does 3 damage.
Yeah. At the other 2 guys, I was hoping that she would cripple movement, because if she cripples movement, then the other guys can hit the charges.
And dies. Yeah.
But they miss. But they do have repo 3, so they repo to max melee range with you,
which is just 1 inch.
Do their best to kind of spread out, tie things up a little bit. And the banner repos forward as well.
So Tim has a lot of mechanics still alive, but they're jamming my zone, jamming a lot of my guys.
I run this Rager into the trench so it can serve as a shield guard for the Witch. Hindsight being 20/20, I probably should have run it down so it could come into contest next turn. But instead, I hold it in reserve probably a little further than I should. This Rager has been a little bit inadequate in the work that it needed to do.
Yeah, he killed one of your own units, so he's been really helpful for me, actually.
Yep. So we're just measuring if the witch has enough distance, if she runs to creep around this house and still get into the zone. So we're just making that minor adjustment.
Very precise measurements.
Very carefully.
Like,
and she just toes
the zone.
It's close, but it's definitive.
It would be a judge call.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it would actually at this point because we were pretty consenting about that particular movement, but it's a perfectly reasonable circumstance.
Anyone else, I probably would have called a judge for that. It's a very tight movement there.
Spoiler alert, John. There was already a judge at the table.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So she's got Divinator, which is the feature site for battle group thing that her arcane machinery
and camping 7.
Correct. She is camping 7. Yes.
She is not going to get shot off the table this round either.
Yeah, that's my hope. I don't have any sack pawns, but I do have 1 shield guard, so I'm hoping that camping 7, I'm still fine. And I'm out of charge range of the storm wall, so I activate the Marauder who walked over and killed the pod, and then I activate the
one Juggernaut who walked by my hunter to take a free strike.
Took a free strike from the
Hits.
hunter. 1 die, does nothing.
Does like 0 damage.
He kills the hunter. He used future sight to boost after rolling. So that
Defense 12 in the back arc.
Yep. Needs a 5.
And you rolled a 3 and had to boost it to get it.
Yep.
Okay, so now it's like, okay, what your plan here? You're killing the Charger with the Marauder or the other Juggernaut.
Yeah, so the Charger takes a big chunk of damage.
You stationary on the first hit with the axe.
Stationary on the first hit with the axe, and then the fist and a bot attack with the axe actually finish the Charger.
Yeah, you free shot the Charger.
Yeah, I got a little lucky with the stationary at first there, but I didn't have a back arc on him. I stayed in his front arc, so he actually needs 6s.
You scored 2, which puts you at 3-1. I have 3-2. 3-2.
3-2. That's correct.
I have 14 minutes left, and now my idea is I'm talking to Tim right now out loud. I'm like, Tim, if I clear all your mechanics, all your middle unit of infantry, what can you contest? Like, you run 8 or you charge 9. So now I'm thinking, like, okay, so what do I do? You'll see a lot of measuring sticks coming down here in a minute to make sure everything that I measure is correct a few times, which eats about 6 minutes on my clock early on to make sure this plan will work.
Yeah,
my plan
it's pretty
is
important to make sure a plan works, though.
My plan is I go to 5, 4. I go to 4. I drop my last pod to keep you at 3. The following turn, you have nothing to contest, which means I go to 6. You can kill a pod, and you would go to 5, which I would win based on the scenario 6-5.
Correct.
So
for that plan to work, you need to kill every mechanic in the zone.
Yes. No, every mechanic on the table. Every mechanic on the table.
Yeah.
And
so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mechanics.
6 mechanics.
I'm pretty sure there's 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Oh,
mechanics.
never mind. My bad. There are 6 mechanics. And then you need to kill the Winter Guard officer, and then 1,
2, 3 NUA.
infantry, and
the standard bearer.
The banner.
So I need to kill 11 models. 7 plus.
Well, and then
5.
you also need to kill the Juggernaut, or
I need to do enough damage where that Juggernaut takes a free strike. I kill you, but then again, you can probably kill my Stormwall before that happens.
Yeah. So if I can charge the Stormwall with 2 fully loaded jacks, which I can with Boundless Charge, and wreck that Stormwall, then that Juggernaut could run into the zone. So you need to kill that Juggernaut, or at least cripple its movement.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of things going on right now, and I'm thinking, I'm like, cool. I want to try to go for this.
Okay.
I feel like the only chance you have is that one Juggernaut getting into the zone, and if I
think we talked for a moment about the possibility of disrupting it with Strange Ways.
Yeah.
Because he has disruption on his gun.
Yeah.
But we decided it's not worth disrupting it with Strange Ways because
it's power.
Because with Boundless Charge, I don't need the focus.
No.
To charge into the zone.
Yeah. So like in the end, it all worked out. Like cool. I'm like, okay. So Sloan gave 1 to the one hunter in front of her.
Yep.
And 1 to the Stormwall. And that was it.
2 to the Stormwall?
Yes, 2 to the Stormwall. Yeah, Stormwall's fully loaded. So here we go. I'm making sure I'm counting my allocation, making sure I can keep up on what I can't. Playing this I find like this is my every turn this takes me like 5 minutes to figure out my plan. It's a lot different than playing hordes.
Well, when you have a limited number of models and they all have to have a great impact on the game, planning their activations really carefully is half the battle, I think.
So like I'm allocating now. I'm checking Strange Wage's spray right now because I have that one guy that's really in the way in front of that storm wall to get me where I really want my storm wall, which sounds really weird. So I'm hoping I can spray him with Strange Ways and kill him.
Yeah, you've got your rat 6?
Rat 6, range 8 on my spray.
And it's, I think, power 12, isn't it?
It is a power 12, so automatically makes you a tough check.
6 to hits, not dead ones for
Wait,
damage?
there is no tough check because Joe's dead.
Sorry, not even, just auto dead, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Strange Ways moves up and rolls a 6?
Yeah, Strange Way walks up with an 8. I need to roll a 6. I'm like, okay, Strange Ways, let's do this. He misses.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, that's fine. I'm like, that's fine. That means Sloan has to walk up now and do some dirty work. So my hunter goes first, boost to hit, buys, rolls 6s, kills those 2. Cool, good. Those 2 mechanics dead.
That's the hunter killing them in melee. That's a
in
hunter
melee.
axe
Yep.
being used.
Yep.
Folks,
Need 6s.
never seen it before.
Sloan walks up. I do. This is pretty cool. Dust to dust.
Yeah, so this is a spell Sloan has. It's a POW 12, and then it turns you into a cloud. So you
Range 10, POW 12, cost 2.
Yeah, you hit and kill. We don't bother marking the cloud because you can see through it and it doesn't make a huge difference for me. Initially, we thought it was an AoE and marked damage, but that's actually a mistake. So that officer has a token next to her indicating she took damage, but she actually has not. But he does kill one of the models.
Then Sloan shoots one. I kill one of the models with the dust to dust, and I shoot one that's in the middle of the table in the zone to kill. So now I only have 2 in the zone, 3 mechanics left, and 4 guys to kill. I'm like, cool. My one hunter activates, shoots the one guy, or Junior activates, boost to hit, hits him, and kills him because it's power 12, no tough.
Yep, good job,
like,
Junior.
sweet, Junior did something. You shot something at Rat 4.
And that was Runewood killed a guy in melee.
Uses melee. Mat 7. Need
Yep.
4, need 5s, kills. This hunter shoots. 1 hunter on the hill shoots, kills, boost damage, or boost hit, kills everything. No more mechanics left. Cool. Stormwall.
So every single model in this zone did exactly what it was supposed to do. The hunter killed 2 mechanics.
Yep.
The hunter shot a mechanic. Hunter shot a mechanic. Runewood melee killed a mechanic. Junior
Killed
a winter guard.
Killed the one that Strange Witch couldn't kill, which was fine. That's why he was there. He was my second backup.
There's your redundancy. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, Def 12 in all these cases, so it's not like necessarily unlikely, but things are shaping up according to the plan.
I'm like, sweet. Plan is working. 3.5 minutes left. Stormwall, you're coming apart. So I can make sure I move this measurement
it's
right.
business time when the storm wall comes apart.
I'm like, okay, I need to check. So I'm checking if he runs 8. Where can he do? I'm like, cool. Like, he can get to the zone on both sides. I'm like, okay, this is not going to be cool. He'll take a free strike on both ways. But I'm like, wait a second. My Stormwall is probably going to be dead by those 2 Juggernauts charging, or Marauder and Juggernaut charging me. So I'm like, cool, I need to go closer now. Stormwater Fist has E-Leap,
Yep.
which I find a lot of people do not use actually when they're playing against me.
They are terrible, if that is the case.
A lot of people actually do not use the E-Leaps off the Fist.
Yeah, the E-Leaps are very, very powerful. I mean, they're contextual, obviously. Like, they have to be good, but I think it's one of the most powerful infantry clearing tools available on the model.
He's POW 20 on his Fist.
So John walks up. You've got 3 focus on the Stormwall, right?
Yes, 3 focus.
And you are engaging the officer and you're engaging the Juggernaut. So those are the 2 targets that you basically have.
So my Fist is on the Juggernaut and it's on the officer.
And the officer, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool.
So make your first attack on the Juggernaut. Which
hits, E-Leaps to the one guy that's closer beside the officer, kills him because you don't get a tough check on it. Does about 9 points of damage just for attack.
Yep.
Second attack I have to do on the...
You hit and kill the officer. No need to boost there.
And it E-Leaps to the banner, which kills the banner.
Which also kills the banner.
Sweet. That unit's gone.
You rolled the necessary 3 or 4 on both those ones. And you buy an attack on the Juggernaut.
Buy an attack on the Juggernaut.
So this is critical.
And
in 3 attacks on the Juggernaut, John did 24 points of damage. It had 27 boxes left. It has 3 boxes. They are right arm, cortex.
So I crippled his movement, which makes it impossible for that Juggernaut in front of me to ever get into that zone. It can only move 4. So at this point, I already pre-measured everything with Boundless Charge and running and charging. I don't think Tim has a way to get into the zone, but then again, I am playing Tim and he's found ways before. So I'm like, sweet. I'm going to 4. I'm at 4. Tim's at 3. I contest with a pod. Tim, it is your turn. 11 minutes. What can you do?
Yeah. Turns out the answer is not much. It's unfortunate because I can kill this Stormwall almost twice. That's no problem. But I don't think I can do anything else. Now, a line of play that I didn't think about was if the witch kept all 7 on herself, boundless charged herself for 1, charged the Stormwall, got most of the way into that forest, had line of sight to Sloan, and then scourged you for 3, boost to hit maybe, get a POW 13 in on you, shoot you with my crows to blind you, like scourge you again, like just try that kind of craziness. I believe if I boundless charge myself for 1, I can have 1 boosted damage scourge.
I am camping 1 this turn.
You are camping 1 this time. So if instead I wanted to have 2 fully unboosted scourges, you're on a hill, so you'd have 18, 18, 11s. So I'd be relying on the first one drifting onto you, and the second one just kind of raw hitting you. I could try to roll the blind just randomly, like just roll boxcars on it, but I probably don't get that one. That's obviously not the line of play I go for. Instead, I miss the point that John's making about the way that he's opened up the zones here. The Rager moves up, blows up a pod. The Witch moves up. She puts Boundless Charge on a model. She goes for Future Sight. She allocates a bunch to all of her jacks. And in a second, you're going to see 2 Warjacks come in and kill a Stormwall. The Marauder, free charge from Boundless Charge, goes 9 inches as far as it possibly can, is a quarter of an inch outside of the zone.
I totally forgot to put a cloud down, but I don't think it wouldn't have made a difference.
I can see the Stormwall for sure.
Yeah,
like,
so
that's not the argument.
cloud's supposed to be there, but
it should be a cloud. It doesn't do damage or anything.
Doesn't do anything, but for like future, I guess I'm gonna put clouds down for now because it could make a difference if people are.
Yep,
doing
this
things.
Marauder's a weapon master against huge bases. Because that's its rule.
Off 3,
and it's doing tons of damage. It actually rolls pretty crappy. On all of my attacks, I do about 7 damage on each of them. Not 7 damage on each of them. I do about 4 damage on each of them. So I roll 7.
It took
on
out
3
a
dice.
side and a quarter.
Yep, but he'd taken some softening up from a hunter shot.
3 from a hunter shot.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
So the charge attack does good damage, and then the bot attacks do okay damage.
And now you have 1 Juggernaut, and then I think this is the time where you realize, oh shit.
Yeah, this is the moment where I'm like, oh, yep. The Rockets could not have ran into the zone. They walked up and they shot the junior and did nothing.
And the 1 Devastator that has Shield Guard could not run into the zone because I measured that. You were 12 inches away.
The Rager.
The Rager
could not get into the zone. That's correct. And the Juggernaut, in a second, we're just going to remove the Stormwall for measurement's sake. That's 4 inches. 4 inches does not get me into the zone. And I'm like, of course, because my movement's crippled. I can't run, can't charge. I'm stuck here.
Yep.
Can't trample, can't slam. Like I have no vectors of getting into that zone.
You can't throw your own models.
Yep, can't throw your own models. That's a rule. There's no power attack pushes.
Can you slam your own model?
The thing that I didn't think about that maybe would have helped is the Marauder could have done its combo strike, which is a slam in the back of the Juggernaut. But I would have to have moved it 5 inches, and I would have had to have killed the
Stormwall
with the Juggernaut and the other Juggernaut. So that's a line of play I didn't anticipate that I probably should have done. Although I don't believe I was 5 inches away from the Juggernaut, and I can't charge my own models, and I have no mechanism of Pathfinder.
Yeah, so, okay, cool.
So it would have been something to try out. As you can see here, I
Kill the
don't
Stormwall.
manage to do that. I do kill the Stormwall. That's the 3 boxes on the Juggernaut, the Cortex and right arm. And he walks 4 inches and is just short of the zone.
I would like to say I planned this. I actually did plan this tech to play, but I expected you to take a free strike. I didn't think your 2 Juggernauts could kill my Stormwall.
Juggernaut and a Marauder, but
it's.
So as you can see, if the Marauder had have had the distance to walk behind that Juggernaut, if the Juggernaut and the Juggernaut could have killed the Stormwall without the assistance of the Marauder, which is a maybe.
Yep,
because
possible.
the Juggernaut fully loaded can do similar damage to a Marauder fully loaded.
Yep.
The Marauder walks up behind it, slams it, and just tries to roll a 5 or a 6, which is still only a 30% chance of winning the game. But in this particular example, I have 0% chance.
So
So that's the game.
6-5.
Yep. Great game. Tight one.
I had so much fun playing against Old Witch 2. I played a Khador spam before with Sloan. and I felt like I was in full control just based on how I could shoot, stuff like that. I didn't have to worry about 14 inches. Like, yeah, I'm a hunter, but it made me cast fire group every turn. So that's 2 less focus I can give to anything, and 2 less focus I'm camping. So I'm always lower. So it made me use that. I'm always 16 away. Her spells of like Future Sight, spells cost 1 less. And what's the third one?
Range amplifier, the +5 range.
+5 range. It's pretty cool that she has that ability to do every turn. Like, you don't know what's coming from her at all during your opponent's turn. And you must declare that on her turn, right? At the start?
Yeah, it's
anytime? Or is
during her activation, anytime. So you can do it. I mean, again, the proviso should be said, like we said at the beginning of the video, this is under testing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is currently being discussed. However, my feeling is if this version of Old Witch for Khador went to print right now, I would be completely satisfied with it.
I'm sure we have a few Khador friends that would probably pick it up because it is really, it's a really good caster. Well-rounded. Yep. I don't think she's overpowered. I don't think she's underpowered. I really find that she's really good at what she brings to the table. And her being on Scrapjack and the what Scrapjack's supposed to do for her, like the magic and stuff like that, I think he really does.
Yeah, it's really cool.
She's playing it now, Tim.
She feels a little bit like Denny 3, but less mobile.
Okay.
She's got that element of it, which has been really fun to play.
But then again, you're on Scrapjack, which is a slow jack in the first place, right? So
it's a speed 6 jack. He went down in speed.
Okay, so he's a speed 6 jack. But would it be slower carrying someone on a bigger base? I guess because he's now bigger, right?
I mean, I don't know why we're having this argument. She took him completely apart
and made him bigger,
built him into something completely different. So like,
slower.
She can be whatever speed she needs to be.
No, playing her, how did you feel as, like, did you feel it was weird playing her as a Old Witch2 as a?
It's always a little odd playing into Sloan, and she had some tools, but I had to play pretty cagey, but I think she can play cagey. When initially she was put into community integrated development, I saw the 12-19 stat line, and I was like, oh. I've played ARM 19 casters before, and sometimes they just get shot and die. So I really wanted to give her the test of, put her into a gun line. She doesn't have card chip level boxes. What happens? And it's obviously the Winterguard theme helps a ton.
Yeah, the Winterguard themes I think helps the Sloan matchup in Khador altogether. Yeah. Like it's
I wouldn't say solves it, but definitely makes it
helps
a lot more playable.
Like, I couldn't go for assassination at all. I might have on my feet turn, but like I feel like it would have been dicey.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no, overall, I enjoyed playing it. I'm excited that we're going to continue to do these CID games.
Yeah, that's the hope. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts on the casters, your kind of theory of the matchup as well. If you've played any battle report games, maybe post some of those reports or those comments in the comments if you've played them. And then also let us know if community integrated development testing is what you want to see. Obviously, we're planning to continue to do our standard battle report series and our videocast series where we'll be talking about some more of these ideas. If you watched our show on Sunday or checked out the recording of it, which we released on Wednesday, you'll see our thoughts on the Grimkin faction. But this particular video is a departure for us, and obviously it's using some proxy models, which is a little weird and a little confusing. So let us know if that's the kind of thing you want to see more of, because it's a bit cutting edge, or if you'd like us to go back to playing some traditional casters that are completely polished and are a bit more of an adequate lesson about the current meta, because this is different.
They're definitely getting the contact on Mondays though. We're giving them the battle reports Mondays, so I enjoy this. I think this is gonna be good. There's a few games we're gonna all play. Like we each picked a caster, we're all gonna play one. So
yeah, that's true. Tune in for our video on. Sunday. Have tuned in already for our video on Sunday to see what we discuss in terms of dividing up the Grimkin faction. But yeah, this is us. And please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter. Check out our Twitch channel, which we'll have linked in the comments as well. And thanks for watching. See you possibly next Thursday, possibly every second Thursday. We haven't decided the frequency with which you want to do community integrated development, so let us know what you want.